Hey, before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss stories like this. I never thought I'd become the kind of woman who does something unforgivable, but I did. And the worst part? I can't even justify it. My name's Claire, and for 4 years, I was a man named Daniel, the most patient, thoughtful, quietly kind person I've ever known. He wasn't flashy, not the type to post about us online or stage grand romantic gestures. But he was steady, dependable, safe. At first, that steadiness felt like everything I'd ever wanted after years of messy, chaotic relationships. But over time, I started confusing stability for boredom. While Daniel worked late, building his small graphic design business, I scrolled endlessly on social media, comparing our quiet life to couples who seemed thrilling, exciting, endlessly alive. And then Ethan entered the picture. Ethan worked in the same office building as me, confident, funny, effortlessly charming. The kind of man whose presence alone made heads turn. He noticed me, complimented me, remembered the little things Daniel often missed. One late evening, after too many glasses of wine at a coworker's birthday party, I crossed a line I couldn't undo. Just one night, but that night left a stone of guilt sitting heavily in my chest. Daniel didn't notice immediately. He was swamped with a major project deadline. But guilt has a way of changing a person. It seeped into my tone, my eyes, my body language. I became distant, defensive, quick-tempered over the smallest things. "Are you okay?" he'd ask. "Did something happen?" And I'd snap. I told myself it was stress, tiredness. But deep down, I knew I was building a wall to protect myself from being seen. 2 weeks later, the wall cracked. Daniel came home early. I was at the dining table, pretending to read, though my mind was elsewhere. He walked over, put down his keys, and said quietly, "Claire, can we talk?" I felt my throat tighten. "About what?" He looked calm. Not angry, not suspicious. Just calm in a way that terrified me more than shouting ever could. "I think you're hiding something," he said. "I need you to be honest with me." For a moment, I froze. All the excuses I'd rehearsed vanished. His eyes were steady. No accusation, only quiet heartbreak already forming. I confessed. Every detail, every mistake, every lie. When I finished, he didn't interrupt, didn't shout, didn't even look shocked. He just nodded slowly and whispered, "Thank you for telling me." That was it. I waited for the eruption, yelling, tears, anger. But instead he stood, walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and said, "I think I understand now." I didn't understand. How could he be so calm? I begged him to yell, to curse, to do something. "Claire," he said simply, "I've loved you long enough to know when something's gone. I saw it in your eyes weeks ago. I just needed to hear it." Those words hit harder than any scream ever could. That night, he packed a small bag. No drama, no threats. Just a man quietly accepting a reality he didn't choose. He paused at the door, looked at me once, and said, "I hope you find whatever excitement you were searching for. I just wish it hadn't cost us this." Then he left. The silence that followed was unbearable. Every corner of the apartment still smelled like him. The faint scent of cologne, the jingle of keys in the bowl by the door. I told myself he'd call, that maybe he'd come back once the shock faded. Days passed. Weeks. No message, no contact. Ethan, the man I'd risked everything for, vanished as soon as he realized I wasn't as carefree as he thought. The thrill was gone. I was left alone with nothing but guilt. Then, a month later, Daniel reached out. Not a call, just a simple text. "Can we meet for coffee? There's something I want to say." My heart raced. Hope? Fear? I didn't know, but I went. At the cafe, my hand shook so badly, I almost dropped my phone. Daniel was already there, by the window, black coffee in front of him. Same order, same quiet posture, yet lighter somehow, as if he'd laid down a weight I was still carrying. He looked up, half smiled, gestured to the empty chair. "Thanks for coming," he said softly. I sat, fumbled with my bag. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. "Daniel," I started. He stopped me gently. "Let me go first, please." I nodded, biting my lip. He sipped his coffee slowly. I've been thinking a lot since that night. About us, about what happened, about how I reacted. My throat tightened. I didn't know what he'd say, and part of me felt I didn't deserve to hear it. I realized, he continued, that for a long time, I made our relationship too comfortable. I tried so hard to keep peace that I stopped noticing how you really felt. I thought being steady was enough. I blinked, confused. Daniel, none of that was your fault. He smiled faintly. Maybe not, but I needed to understand my part, not to take blame, but to learn something before I move on. Move on. Those words cut like ice. He wasn't here to fix anything. He was here to say goodbye. Daniel, I don't want to defend what I did, I said, tears stinging, but believe me, it wasn't because you weren't enough. It was me, selfish, restless, stupid. He interrupted gently. I know and I believe you. That's why I'm not angry anymore. Not angry. That stopped me cold. I spent the first 2 weeks after leaving feeling like a failure, he said, leaning forward. Then I realized you can't lose what's already gone. You wake up one day and accept it. Forgiveness isn't always about reconciliation. Sometimes it's about freeing yourself from someone else's mistakes. I couldn't hold back. Tears slipped down my face. So that's it? You forgive me and we just walk away. He looked at me for a long moment. I don't know if forgiveness has to mean walking together again. Maybe it just means we stop walking backward. I wanted to argue, tell him I'd change, but deep down, I knew he was right. Whatever we had, I'd broken it beyond repair. After a pause, he slid a small white envelope across the table. My name, written in his familiar hand. What's this? I asked. Just something I wrote. You don't have to open it now. I held it, shaking. He stood, gave me one last soft, steady look. Take care of yourself, Claire. Then he left. I sat long after he was gone, staring at the empty chair. Finally, I opened the envelope. Inside, a single page, blue ink, like the notes he used to leave on the fridge. I don't hate you. I don't wish you pain. But I hope one day you understand what it feels like to be loved completely and not realize it until it's gone. You are my calm after chaos. I only wish I had been your peace too. Daniel. I read it over and over until the words blurred through my tears. That's when I understood true strength. It isn't in holding on. It isn't in punishing someone who breaks you. It's in walking away with grace when every instinct screams to stay. Months have passed. I moved apartments, changed my routines, tried to fill the silence with noise, but nothing feels the same. I see couples holding hands and think of how Daniel used to do that quietly, absent-mindedly, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. People say guilt fades, that time heals, but some mistakes don't disappear. They become lessons. Mine is simple. When someone loves you with consistency instead of chaos, don't mistake it for boredom. Daniel taught me love isn't fireworks. It's the steady flame that doesn't go out when things get dark. I only wish I'd learned it before burning everything down.